Familiar faces in the room, some I've known for many years. And I just want to start by saying right off the bat how much respect and admiration I have for people like yourselves who have nothing, who get together, who assert your basic human rights, and try to find a place to be and to live in this world. So I really appreciate that. And so many people have come up today because of that. And it takes courage to do that, and I know that it's not always easy, and I really appreciate y'all being here. So, as you know, a lot of this came up because of businesses and landowners on the north side of the river. I've been complaining about the camps, partly because the river got high, and just there's always been a lot of camps over there. But that put a lot of pressure on elected officials. Supervisor Phil Cerna is in his district, and so he's been getting lots of complaints, and he felt like he needed to act on that. And the good news is that what could have happened, which has happened in the past, is we could have just noticed people, and when I say we, county rangers, because it is county parkland, and asked people to leave. I mean, one thing that did happen somewhat differently is that Supervisor Cerna wanted to at least try to create some new resources, and he actually raised some private money from some business and all the places, businesses and banks in the community, raised about $35,000, $40,000, try to at least create some more beds so that some people could get inside because of this change. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what is being added because of that, and so our people already know about the Winter Sanctuary Program. We've got up to about 100 people a night. Really want to thank Volunteers of America. Leo McFarland's here. About 20-some churches in the community are stepping up and taking people in, feeding people, providing a place to be in the cold. And that program, was going to end at the end of February because we were just basically, that's how much money we had raised, and we didn't have enough to keep going. And some of this money that Supervisor Cerna raised is going to keep that going for an extra month. So at least we have those 100 beds, which I know are already pretty full, but they get to go for another month, and it's probably going to be a cold March. So, at least there's something that, and the reason, largely that these extra resources have been brought in is because of all your organizing. So, I think you should be proud of that. It's not enough, obviously, but some things have happened. The other bright thing I want to say before I launch into the shelter piece is that the city-county efforts have been mostly trying to get housing for people. And while the economy has kind of slowed that down, we do have two big housing projects under construction that are going to be done this summer. And one's going to be for 75 homeless people, and one's going to be for about 66 homeless people. They're going to open this summer. There's going to be a lot of outreach down here at Loaves Fishes. You guys are the folks that we want to get into those housing units. Some of them will be, assigned for like people with mental illness or people with really bad health, and others won't. But we want to really come and do more of these meetings, frankly. It'd be great once these housing units are up if we could come here and sign people up and try to get people inside. Because that's a real permanent housing, subsidized rent. That's what will get people off the street for good. So, I'm happy to say there's some of that coming. I wish we thought it was going to be happening by now, but with the economy, it's been in slow motion, but they are going to both open this summer. So there's some good news on the horizon with housing. But so what's been added is with the money that's been raised, Salvation Army had about 32 beds, I believe it is, that were empty because the funding got cut this year. And they weren't open for the winter, so they came up with the money to fund those beds. As I understand it, there's 20 beds for women and 12 beds for men at Salvation Army. There was an effort already started last night to outreach to women at the Winter Sanctuary Program to try to get them to move to Salvation Army beds. Some of them are on the waiting list anyway. And then that frees up some beds in the Winter Sanctuary Program for men also. So, we don't have the main criteria for these beds per Supervisor Cerna, who raised the money, was that these be directed to safe ground or the campers that are out there. We haven't been able to work out a way for people with pets to come inside, I'm sorry to say, to take care of the pets. We have, the Salvation Army does have storage, so if you have, tents and stuff you want to keep in storage, Salvation Army can provide that. We clearly don't have enough beds for everybody even in this room, much less people on the river. But so I mean, what I wanted to put out there is that you know, my feeling is, and you folks can help decide this, is that people who get those beds should be older people, people who are sick, people who have serious health problems, you know, people like that who are vulnerable. And so, you know, and somebody from Salvation Army is here. Oh, hi Elizabeth, sorry, I didn't see you coming in. So they're here also, and so we wanted to, I mean, I don't know how to go about that. I mean, you guys can make your own list of people you think are the most vulnerable, or we could be here afterwards to talk to people, you know, whatever works out easiest for people, but we want to get people in those beds as soon as possible. Anything else you want to say about that?
I think she talked to the same ladies yesterday that were already signing up to go from the wheelchair into the wheelchair.